So necessary packages have been imported. So in this video we are going to see how actually we can make a histogram and interpret it. So initially let's have a look at the dataset, how our dataset actually looks like. So I'm importing the file. It's a car model dataset just to have some sample columns and rows so we can plot the graph accordingly and interpret it. So as you can see, we have ID, model, date, model year, rank and score columns here. So now let's try to plot the histogram here. So we are going to pass a variable name. So let's choose the score from the car dataset. Let's call plt.show. So on the x-axis we have the values and on the y-axis we have the number of observations. Histogram essentially represents the distribution of values in one variable. So on the x-axis we do have the bins. The default size of bins is 10 here. We can actually customize that as well. Now let's try to give labels on the x and y axis. So it's easier for us to interpret our figure. So as you can see, score value and number of observations are there on the x and y axis respectively. Now let's try to plot two histograms in one figure. So for that I'm importing here the new data set. Now let's check how the data set actually looks like. So in this one we do have two scores instead of the previous one which just had one score column, and here we are going to plot the two scores. Okay, let's now try to plot the histogram. So let's first check the score 1 from the car dataset and let's give it a label. We will just see very shortly the importance of these labels. So let's give it as score 1. Now let's try to plot the histogram for score 2. And let's give it a label as score 2. We can give the label name to the x and y axis as well. First, let's give name to the x-axis. So let it be score values. For the y-axis, let's give it as number of observations. And we can have plt.legend as well, so we can see which color belongs to actually which histogram. So that's how you can plot two histograms in one figure. You can use the ax.hist as well. That's another way of plotting the histograms in Python. So I have used here plt.hist. As you can see, the both are very overlapping. It's difficult to interpret both at the same time in one figure. If we put his type as temp, as you can see, instead of bars, opaque bars, we can see the lines here. So that way it's easy to interpret multiple histograms in one figure.